The Realm Rework is here! Well, a beta is at least. So I've already seen a lot of videos about people just exploring the Realm Rework. I did that yesterday, so today I'm just going to go ahead and share with you what I know. Specifically, I want to just go over what the Realm Rework adds and also give some advice on a couple of the annoying set piece and realm encounters that they added. And also briefly talk about all the biome UTs. First off, adds beacons that you can teleport to go to different places in the realm. You have to activate them. I'll be activating some of them later. All of the old realm is in these light blue beacons. This has all the old realms content. Everything else is mostly new stuff. The low level areas are more likely to drop equipment for the class you're playing. And you also level up faster and get more stats on leveling up, so leveling and maxing is going to be easier than before. These mid-level areas are like the new Godlands. All the Godlands enemies will be found there. Specifically, the Abandoned City has all of the Godlands enemies. And then the new areas, the veteran areas, are the dark blue. Those are all very dangerous. There are a bunch of different biomes. Each biome has its own biome UT, except for the low-level biomes, which all share a biome UT. So all the low-level biomes, that's rookie biomes as Deca calls them, which all of those can have the Adventurer's Scarf. It's sort of like a Q-band. It's pretty much just a Q-band actually, but it looks nicer and gives more survivability and no dexterity. As we wander up, we're going to enter some of the new biomes that have new enemies. This is the Haunted Hallows. The biome UT for the Haunted Hallows is a mace. It summons scarecrows that lure enemies in and then attack them. Sort of like the Refraction Cloak or Cloak of Refraction from the Crystal Cavern. Here's our first set piece boss. This is the Flesh Golem. You have to beat the two enemies that are orbiting around, and then the middle guy becomes vulnerable. A lot of the set piece bosses and realm encounters in the early areas have certain targets that you need to clear before you can fight the main boss, and then they just have that same sort of pattern. The set piece bosses don't have super high drop rates, but everything in the biome can drop a biome UT, and that includes the set piece bosses. This one is another one where you have to beat the big werewolves to get to the biggest werewolf in the middle. It currently has placeholder art. Most of the realm encounters, or at least a few of them, have placeholder art. Most of the set piece bosses have 2 phases. Or at least this one does. Oh, Skull Knight, that's one of the realm encounters. I'm going to fight that. The realm encounters are slightly different from set piece bosses. They spawn by defeating set piece bosses. Unlike the set piece bosses, the realm encounters also HP scale. This one's not immune to stun, but normally it does actually have attacks. Each of the new realm encounters can drop 1 event white. There aren't any new event whites, but you have extra chances at the old one. The old event whites are also more common than they used to be. There's a mountain temple from that guy. There's new ways to get pretty much every dungeon. So dungeons are going to be much more accessible through the realms. Let's fight this boss over here, the Shady Sect Leader. We're going into the Dead Church now. The Dead Church drops a skull that has minions. So it's kind of like a summon. The minions work a little bit differently. There's 2 different versions of the minions you can summon. One of them rotates around you and has limited health. The other one seeks out enemies. It's not very smart, but it does tons of damage, so it's a high damage skull. This is another one where you have to beat all the minions, and then the guy in the middle becomes vulnerable and has 2 phases. Since there's a lot of new ones, they kind of blend together a little bit. That's okay though. There's a lot of minions inside this set piece as well. This biome, I think, has placeholder art on the floor because it looks really boring and ugly, and it's just all the same. This is the Dead Church, but there's like nothing churchy about it. Anyway, this is the Death Knight. We're going into our next new biome. This is the Shipwreck Cove. The biome UT here is a sword that fires a cluster of cannonballs which explode after going a few tiles out. And this is the Animal Merchant. He looks a bit goofy. Once we beat are those ducks? Those are ducks. We got all kinds of birds here. Now we have a monkey. There's just 1 monkey, and now we have the most prized specimen, which is a tiger. Now we can beat up the Animal Merchant himself. He's not very strong. Okay, here's something in particular I want to show. These little ghost enemies here, they have a chance to drop the Cave of 1,000 Treasures, and it's a pretty reasonable chance. So I want to try and see how long it takes to find a Cave of 1,000 Treasures. Oh, there we go. We found one already. I already said the biome UT here. It's my least favorite biome UT out of all the biome UTs, the cannon. You'd think it sounds cool, but I just don't like it because it looks like it's got tons of range, but the effective range is much closer to a typical sword range. It's still more than normal swords, I think, but I'm used to long range classes, and so having a weapon that looks like it has lots of range and then doesn't just feels kind of bad to me. Anyway, next new biome over here. This is the Coral Reef. It's got a bunch of sea animals in it. The biome UT for the Coral Reef is the Tidal Staff. It's sort of, actually this is the exact pattern it has pretty much. This turtle uses pretty much the exact same pattern as the Tidal Staff. So it's hard to hit all the shots, but it does pierce, so it's sort of a crowd control weapon. You're not going to be using it for single target, but it is powerful for crowd clearing. There's also only 1 set piece in this biome right over here. This is the Maiden of the Sea. It has funny dialogue. Since that's the only set piece in this area aside from fishing, which I'll talk about later, I'm not going to stay in this biome anymore. I'm going to go over here to the Sprite Fields, or the Sprite Forest, I think is what it's actually called. The biome UT here is Celestial Recurve. It's a bow. Sort of shoots like Coral Bow, but then there's an extra sweet spot at a specific range. There's a Mad Lab, Magic Woods. People are asking where dungeons drop, so getting dungeon drops here is actually pretty helpful. There's a puppet as well. It's not affected by Bard buff, but it is a pretty powerful bow. I certainly like it. It's one of my favorite biome UTs in the Realm Rework. Here's a bunch of trees. There's a couple little areas that just are decorated like this. Sometimes there's even lore you can read. It looks like there isn't any lore this time, though. Okay, here we go. Here's one of the set piece bosses. It drops Sprite World. Who would have guessed? Here's another one of the veteran biomes, the Deep Sea Abyss. I mean, I guess since I'm up here, I can look at it. As you can see here, the veteran biome enemies are way stronger. This one jumps very quickly. I love how this biome looks as well. It might be another of my favorites. This, the Haunted Hallows, are my favorite biomes. I don't want to go to the veteran biomes just yet, though, so I'm going to turn back. I think I've got a couple more adept biomes to look at anyways. This is the Abandoned City. It's the replacement for the original Godlands. There's a couple new enemies here. That one drops Ancient Ruins. But for the most part, you're going to see your old gods here. The only old god that got changed was the Beholder, which now inflicts Weak instead of Blind. Very good change. This area is much more detailed than the other ones. It's got cities, lots of pathways, lots of houses. There's a big central circular area around the beacon. Once we go out of the city area, though, it's sort of a wasteland, completely barren of detail, similar to the Dead Church, although this is a much less intrusive background than the Dead Church has. Also for the beta, there's only one map for the realm, so this layout's going to be exactly the same every time you see it. Okay, over here is one of the set pieces for one of the new encounters, or one of the new set piece bosses. The set piece boss is defeated though, so we can't stay here. We gotta find a different one. There's only one abandoned city per realm, so it looks like they might have actually beaten all the set piece bosses here. Are we close to the realm closing? Yeah, so we'll probably see the realm close and then we'll get a new one. For now, I'm just gonna move on to the next biome, which was up here. This is the Risen Hell. The biome UT for this biome is a seal. I don't play Paladin, but I've heard that it's incredibly overpowered, as usual for Paladin items. And this is the Eternal Tormentor. Look out for the... Whoa. Okay, that projectile is just really hard to see. That little pink one. Okay, I'm gonna die into this guy. I believe I've looked at all of the... So it's probably time to head to the Carboniferous. This is the first of the veteran biomes. The biome UT here is the Evolutionary Records, which is a tome that lets you transform into different animals. Like there's a crab, there's a dinosaur, and there's... Oh, there's a realm encounter over there. And there's a mantis. They're all pretty powerful except the crab. The crab's useless. Here's a familiar enemy from the old realm. The sting spider now spawns in the Carboniferous. You can also find the grand dragonfly here. This is one of the in-game realm encounters, possibly the new biggest enemy in the game. Look how big this guy is. I've heard this guy can drop the Crystallized Fangs Venom. I'm not going to engage with that guy anymore. The fight doesn't change at all. There's just certain attacks it can do until it dies, and I've already seen pretty much all the attacks it can do. Oh, here's another one of the new realm encounters. The Flying Behemoth. I'm not approaching that, especially when there's a ethereal shrine on top of it. Anyway, this is the Sanguine Forest. There's nothing particularly remarkable about these enemies. One of them can drop Tomb of the Ancients, though, so that's kind of fun. If you wanted life. This also... Realm enemies can drop life and mana now, so you don't even need to go into dungeons if you want those. You still should, though, because dungeons are great. There is a set piece in this biome, the Organ Harvester. The set piece for that is actually really graphic for Realm of the Mad God. It's got a bunch of organs and stuff. I don't want to show that. I'm just going to travel with the Sorcerer. Maybe they'll clear out stuff for me. Never mind, they've got a tier 3 scepter. What are they doing in a veteran biome? The veteran biomes are meant for max characters. Okay, here's one of the beacon bosses. Like I said, all the high level ones just have a placeholder pattern. So cool. All of the beacon guardians, aside from the low level ones, are guaranteed to drop a potion. I almost forgot. The biome UT for the Sanguine Forest is a katana that sickens you while you're in combat, and then also the lower you are on health while using it, the more attack boost you'll get. So, very high risk, high reward sort of thing. Not my style, but someone will probably use it. Not me, though. Anyway, Deep Sea Abyss. I talked about this one earlier. It's got ocean enemies. It is sort of the final biome. It's at the very top of the world. The biome UT here, of course, is a cloak, because everybody loves rogue. The cloak gives on ability use invisible, which is brand new for the rogue class, but then also, depending on the amount of mana you have, while shooting, you'll fire a bunch of bubbles. So it encourages stacking mana, and it's also a very powerful cloak. Something dropped Ocean Trench here, I called it on accident. There's an Idarian Reef right there as well. That drops in the realm. All of the Court of Oryx dungeons drop in the realm now. Oh, we're going to Oryx anyway. Oh, here's one of the set pieces for the abandoned city. This is the Insurgent Rebel Commander. Look at these guys. That guy's got a rocket launcher. Isn't that awesome? There's another Insurgent Rebel Commander, but I'm not going to fight it. If you follow the roads, you'll always find another beacon. The start points for the roads are all of the beacons that start out activated. And then from there, you can find every single other beacon just by following the roads. Here's some undead layers. Here is our first... Oh, never mind. They're stunning it, so let's find a different one. Did someone already clear this? Are you serious? Okay, well that's the only Risen Hell boss, and they just cleared that too. Okay, let me run ahead very quickly, because they're going to clear every single one of them. This one has minions. Look at that. Lots of minions. They have very little health compared to the main boss. I'm not going to stay around for the beacon to activate. Once you clear it, it's a now dot on the map you can teleport to. I could get back on the move. I gotta find more set pieces quickly. Right, there is definitely only one abandoned city set piece boss, and it's the most interesting one so far. So the beacon in the middle fires lines in 2 directions, and then the main boss just shoots out tons of knives. That's it. That's all it is. They've got pretty simple behavior. Similar to the set pieces, they usually have 1 or 2 attacks. It looks like there might actually be a second Risen Hell, so maybe I can see that encounter. Let's quickly run down here. It looks like they actually got the Haunted Hallows beacon already cleared. They got the other Risen Hell as well. Here's lore. You can read the lore on this statue. Here it is. This guy has a bow and 2 attacks. This one, and then this one. There you go. Isn't that cool? Alright, let's clear you now. Here's the Sprite beacon biome boss. It shoots axes. Does it have a second attack? No, that's it. Okay. That's pretty simple then. Oh, here's the Sigma werewolf. Okay, this is one of the cool encounters that I have to show off. Up here, it doesn't have a set piece currently. Maybe it'll have a set piece in the final version, but it kind of does a lot of chasing anyways. But this is the Sigma werewolf. It looks like nobody wants to fight the Sigma werewolf with me except a couple people. We've got 4 people here now. One of them is a knight. Unlike the Skull Knight, I don't think this guy can be stunned, so we have to actually see the behaviors. I wonder if it can be slowed though. Nobody seems to have a slow. So I guess we'll never know. That's okay. We've already pretty much seen all of the attacks he can do. We're almost done with this fight. He's speedy now, whatever that means. Defeated, you get a tavern from that guy and potions. Here's one of the other set encounters, the Daughter of Lemon. That's a cool looking laser. And this boss drops, after exploding, it drops an encore. It seems pretty much every encounter has a guaranteed dungeon drop. The Sentient Monolith. Oh, actually, this is one's important to show off. First, I have to go through the Runic Tundra, and I'm realizing now I forgot to show off the last couple veteran biomes. This is the Runic Tundra. The biome UT here is a spell. It has AoEs and inflicts weak. I'm not sure how powerful it is because I don't play Wizard all that often, but it has AoEs, so it's probably very strong. Veteran biomes are a pain to clear through. If people aren't going to join me for the encounter at the end, I don't want to sit through all this. Look for the Floral Escape as well, but the Floral Escape is like the worst biome, so I don't want to go there, honestly. Let me look for the Haunted Hallows set piece that I want to show. This doesn't necessarily look like a set piece. If you go on the minimap, you'll notice it is a set piece, but there's no health bars until you approach it, and then suddenly it starts attacking. I have seen someone die to this because they didn't realize it was a boss, so that's kind of fun. It'll spawn more crows. The crows drop a lot of loot, actually, including stat potions. There are a limited number it can spawn, but I want to get all the crows out of the way first. So if you look around this guy, you'll notice that some of the pumpkins look a little bit shinier and golden. When you put this guy below a certain amount of health, those pumpkins will actually detonate and explode into cursed projectiles. If you're not paying attention and you're not a max character, that could very well kill you instantly. So that boss kind of tries to trick you, and that's why I wanted to show it. Anyway, people are more or less at the Sentient Monolith now, so maybe people will actually want to do it. As we go in, you can see it looks very chaotic. There's a lot going on here. As you approach this, you'll realize it's not actually all that bad. I'm not doing well for my case. Anyway, as you approach it, there's an enemy. Okay, maybe I will die to this. I just need the minions to get out of the way. One sec. This one slows, by the way. It's fine in here. Here comes the laser again. I can rotate away from the laser. Or I can run through it. Either way. Alright, let's go in again. See, it's so easy to go in. Actually, it's surprisingly simple when you think about it. Additionally, shooting these crystals will disable stuff. I know one of them stops these rune shots from appearing. One of them does something with the green crystals, I think, because it has a green line. Obviously, it only stops it for a little while, but maybe that can be enough to let you push in more. Like, somebody just got the one that disables the rotating bits, and now this looks so much less overwhelming. So yeah, and now these are back. It's been a few moments, and now they're back. Let's take out the blue crystal. Looks like that's the one people are shooting at. There we go, defeated. What did that do? It doesn't seem to have done anything. Maybe it stopped the lasers. They must have stopped the lasers, because I don't see any lasers now. Okay, that crystal's been taken out, and yeah, the purple one stops the extra bits. So If you do that, the fight is so much more approachable. I assume one of them is the green crystals. Oh, here's phase 2, by the way. Now all the green crystals are firing projectiles. I believe you're supposed to rotate around like this, and that lags my game a lot, actually. Whatever's going on in the middle now. Oh, look at this. Live on camera, we have someone appreciating the videos. People once said they want the biomes to be bigger. No, they're too big. Look at this. Look how far I had to run to find this beacon. Okay, here we go. The Floral Escape. We made it. The final biome. The biome UT here is the Incendiary Poison. It is basically a plague poison, but it's got loads of range and does constant damage. It doesn't poison enemies. It does damage every like 0.2 seconds and a massive radius. It's sort of like a big bomb, and then it creates a little wasteland for a while. And the duration and damage of that wasteland is based on your mana, because when you cast it, it immediately eats all of your mana, or most of your mana. Anyway, people don't like this biome because some of the enemies are hard to see. There's one in particular that looks like a hand. If I see that one, I will point it out. But just in general, this biome has really light tiles compared to all the others. And so the projectiles are just so much harder to see. And people already struggle to see the projectiles in the other biomes. Okay, this is the one that people don't see. It also has green projectiles on green background. Okay, Floral Escape beacon activated. I can come back here anytime now, but why would I ever want to come back here? It looks like the killer bee nest spawns in this biome because it's right up there. Okay, I put this one last thing off to the very end. I kind of hinted at it earlier. In the Coral Reefs biome, there is a fishing minigame. The fishing I've heard is up here somewhere, so I'm going to try to wander up this way. Here we go, I found it, and it's not broken. Sometimes it's bugged, but this time it's not, fortunately. To fish, I'm going to go over this in detail. You got to get one of these fishing rods. You don't have to get it, you can just use it from the barrel, but you can also pick it up. You use it, it spawns a little bobber on your guy. Press your summon control key, mine happens to be spacebar. While hovering over a puddle or a ripple, it'll do damage to the ripple like that, and then you'll get a fish at the bottom. These orbs hovering around the NPC Glover will tell you which fish you need to look for. I need green ones and blue ones. So I need to look for ripples that are green or blue. There's a blue ripple right there. There's a green ripple down here. I might not get this one though. I did. You can tell which ripple it's going to be by the size of it. So you can get to it a little bit faster if you know the size. Like that one was big, so it's a mythical one. This one's a kind of medium size, so it's uncommon. So once you complete the quest, Glover will throw out a little reward. It's scaled to the entire realm, but it also self-destructs after a bit. And now, we wait 30 seconds and then Glover will ask for new fish. You also can't walk in the water. Except sometimes. Sometimes there is events that happen at the fishing pond, and enemies will spawn, or a big boss fish. Sometimes it can feel like it's not working properly because you'll do damage to a puddle and then it won't drop a fish. Oh, we completed it. Then the rewards can drop all kinds of stuff. There's a couple exclusive things, mainly these. This is a squid spawner. It's sort of like the Valentine egg from Valentine's events. You use it, it spawns a little guy until you change maps. There's also a crab one and a frog one. I don't have those. You can get broccoli as well. You can also get up to 3 fish from any one successful catch. Oh, we got an event. This is the School of Fish. It just means that... No, this isn't the School of Fish. This is just high fishing spawn rates. But with that, I'm pretty sure I've looked at everything the Realm Rework Open Beta has. There are a lot of realm encounters that I didn't get to show because they're rare and they're a random chance to spawn. So right now it's pretty much just biome UTs, more accessible dungeons, faster realm closes, and sometimes you get realm encounters. The event whites are also just flat higher rates than they used to be. But for now, I'm just going to fish until the realm closes, so I'll see you later. So the monolith drops a fungal cavern currently. I don't think I'm getting back into the realm before... Train. I don't think I'm getting back into the realm before it dies. Train.